investigations. Hold on. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Left Undone Complete Investigations. I'm Kathy. Sorry about the little delay. My computer, I had all these tabs up that I wanted to look at while we were having our live, and then my computer froze. Had to restart. And of course, Discord decided to do an update. So that was the problem. I couldn't get back in here. So, welcome to Left Undone. If you're new here, please say hello in the chat. My name's Kathy. We have a wonderful community of loyaloos. I see you guys all. Hey, Stacy, Angel Hugs, Lori Day. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Carrie, Kavita, Diva, Shirley, Layton. Hi, Layton. Just scrolling back to see her. Carrie, curiously right, at 10:59. Where is everybody? Almost like my kids, I swear sometimes, Carrie. We love you, but hi Stacy, how are you? How's everybody this Saturday morning? I worked yesterday and was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And oh God, what day is it? It was kind of crazy and busy. So I was exhausted when I came home. So I'm not turning on my camera today because I just didn't get around to putting makeup on and doing my hair. And I'm not coming on camera without it. The end. Hi Donna Donald, how are you? Mrs. Jackson, Karen Bearden. Lots of good people here. The X-Files, hello. Amber E, hi. So I know we have a lot of new members. You guys aren't coming into Discord. You guys got to come into Discord. We want you in there so we can continue to follow these cases and chat when there's not a live. So as far as yesterday went, I did still listen. I listened this morning. Did everybody get a chance to watch the trial yesterday or listen to CHAD Daybell trial yesterday? There was an interesting call with, hi, Christian. Holly Hatch, hello. There was an interesting call yesterday, Fun to Cruise, that they had recorded. Jason William, who is Tammy Daybell's sister's husband, was trying to help find the kids initially. And so he did record a phone call with the police that he called Chad and Lori. And Stacy put makeup on yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks. Yeah, I put it on yesterday for work. The nurse I'm working with, she's like, "Oh, your hair and your makeup on today." I'm like, yeah. I do wear light makeup to work, but I usually put my hair up in a bun or a ponytail or something for work because, being a nurse working 12 hours, your hair does not stay nice anyway, or a headband on. You know, my headbands that I have here that I wear sometimes. So that call was really interesting. And I found that I didn't get all the way through Samantha's testimony yesterday. So I need to go back and listen to that. But if you guys already heard all that, let's talk about it. What did you all think about the call that Samantha's husband, Jason, right? Jason William, recorded with Chad and Lori? More of Lori, blah, 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 button in kind of phone call. The tone is so similar to when they were talking to Melanie Gibb. Oh, nobody did. It's not the same thing as the Tammy stuff. It's totally different. Call our lawyer. We have a lawyer. Hi, Mrs. Jackson. I'm one of your biggest fans. You are one of the best, most informative creators on this horrific crime space. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very, very much. The call was super interesting and gave. Does anybody want me to play that call or did you all hear it? I don't want to waste time if you all heard it. So I'll let you guys let me know if I should play it or not. You want me to play it, Lori? Play it. Okay. So hopefully my computer won't freeze again because when I came back on, I told it to keep all the tabs open that were there before. So we'll see. Let me get it queued up and we will listen to it. Give me 1 minute. Oh, that about vanilla. That's disgusting. He's so like he's Mr. Expert in bed. Come on, Chad. My my chat never scrolls with lightning speed, which we like, right? Because we can have a conversation. Right? Give her props for not running the first time she saw him. Okay, let me cue this up real quick here. Let me get to it. We can talk about it too. Yeah. Saturday. Percy, lay down. My dog. I swear, you guys, these dogs, as soon as I get busy doing something, the dog, the cat, they're like children. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Go lay down, guys. Come on, go lay down. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to find that because I wanted to cue it up. I now I have it queued up right to the right spot. And here we go. All right, let me find it. All right, here we go. Give me 1 second and I will share my screen. Okay. You would not believe this. That cat just opened my drawers. Like, put his claws, they're kind of cloth drawers, and opened it. My sock drawer. He's crazy. I don't know. Okay, let me. If any of you know the story of my cat, I wound up getting it because my patient was dying and she was worried about where her cat was going to go. So I took it. So I've only had him for like a month and he's made himself very comfortable. In fact, he's running the show here. All right, let me share my screen and here we go.
Just for clarity, since we had a break, I believe that one of the last things you said about this phone call was that you had asked law enforcement to record it. Is that what I heard?
Correct.
Why did you ask that from law enforcement?
I wanted to know if there was going to be any answers that would help to find the 2 missing kids that they were inquiring about. And I thought it would be helpful that if there was information given that would assist in that, I thought it'd be good to record it.
And in the conversation, who literally participated in the conversation?
There was myself, CHAD Daybell, and Lori Daybell.
Nobody else comes into the conversation?
I don't believe so.
If in fact, have you recently heard that conversation?
Recently, yes.
If you did have the opportunity to listen to the very early portion of the conversation, would that be something that you could recognize and identify?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has state's proposed Exhibit 308, which is a recording of that phone call. We would seek to have the opportunity to play the first portion for this witness to help identify it. And for clarity, we will be offering it under 801 D2.
All right, if you want to play just a very limited amount, enough to lay some foundation for the witness, and then don't publish anything more than that, Mr. Wixom.
Thank you, Judge. I would ask for 30 to 60 seconds.
So they're going to queue it up. I'm not going to play all the testimonies, but I do want to share it so we can talk about the phone call. And Lori Day voted to play it, so here we are. He's queuing it up. Plus, sometimes when you hear something for the second time, you hear more stuff that you sort of missed. So that's always good too.
And Your Honor, I don't know if Madam Clerk needs to do anything. I did connect the HDMI, so I intend to play it through the, so she did.
And then stick around. Well, after we done talking about
Sir,
Chad
I'm
this
gonna
morning, we'll
play
talk
a
about
very
Micah
small
Miller
portion of the
because
phone
that
call
case is
and
getting
then ask you if you're able to
crazy.
identify it.
Hello. Chad, what's going on?
Message.
You got, all right, what the heck is going on? I got people coming down from Rexburg.
Mr. Wixom, I think that's probably enough.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Gwilliam, do you recognize the voices in that call?
Yes,
Do you recognize that recording?
yes, I do.
Do you believe that that's the actual phone call that you engaged in that you've already been testifying to the jury about?
I believe that it is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to admit State's Exhibit 308.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, exhibit 308 is admitted and you may publish if you request, Mr. Wixom.
Ah,
Your Honor, I
Lori,
do.
I've got you now. I've got you now, my pretty.
Sir, I'm going to continue to play this call. I may stop at points and ask you some questions.
They're wanting to talk to us.
What?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk to you guys and yeah, I have people wanting to question and talk to me about you and what you got going on and I'm like, okay, why? And so I thought I need to reach out and find out.
Speaker Lori's here, so let me just put on speaker.
Okay, sure.
So go ahead and state what is happening so she can hear.
I have people calling me from Rexburg saying, we want to bring you in for questioning and talk to you about what's been going on and we're trying to find some kids. And what do you know about it? And I'm going, I don't know anything. What? Why? What? Okay, no, I don't know what's going on. And so,
Yesterday, they actually went to Leah's house and tried to threaten her. We're not fully sure what they're trying to accomplish. It's mainly one detective in Rexburg.
okay,
So finally, we got a hold of an attorney, and that's pretty much where it goes from here. It's just,
just everything to your attorney and stuff. Okay.
yeah, just, we can text you his name and
Yeah, I probably should.
Mr. Gwilliam, I'm going to pause there. You just heard yourself in the audio saying you probably should contact an attorney. Did I get that correct?
On that one, they had mentioned, or he had mentioned to me that they had an attorney they retained. And I wanted to get the name of the attorney so that I could then pass it on to law enforcement. And that was the purpose of that.
And the voices that we've heard so far, we've heard your voice. Just for clarity, who's the other voice?
The other voice is CHAD Daybell.
say who you need to.
You know me, I don't deal with a lot of this stuff very well. I'm just like, okay, I'm a simple dude. What's going on? What do you guys want to do? What's happening? What's going on?
Go your route. I don't know how you would even be involved.
I have no idea. They're just trying to go through and just kind of see if I know anything about anything going on. And I'm like, no, why would I? What? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Well, we're trying to find two kids that along with Lori, and we just want to know if they're being, sheltered down in Utah. And I'm like, what? I don't have any idea what you're talking about. So is there kids that are not involved or they're what are they talking about? So I'll have a clue if they show up at my house.
If they show up, you can just give them the attorney's name and say, we're not talking to you without an attorney.
Okay.
Because
No,
they're,
well,
it's my sister-in-law. It's just a bunch of people that are starting trouble for no reason.
It's separate from the Tammy situation.
well,
Mr. Gwilliam, you just heard that reference to the Tammy situation. What did you take that to mean from Chad when he said that?
when he said the Tammy situation, I can only, the fact that he had buried her soon, married Lori as quickly as he did. I don't know that it would be a situation, and I don't know what he means by situation in that, at that point.
would it be fair to say at that point in time that you didn't have any knowledge of any investigation related to Tammy?
I didn't know of anything.
And had Chad ever discussed anything like that with you in any of the prior phone calls?
Let me backtrack slightly. Possibly the Tammy situation could be in reference to him calling previously to ask about her exhumation.
They're trying to combine it all together.
Well, do you want to send me that attorney's number? Do you want to text it to me or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you can do that, that would be helpful, I'm sure. So,
they're just grasping at straws. I still feel Heather Daybell's behind it.
okay.
Just, she's an evil woman and,
It's her in-law that's this
yeah,
officer. Who,
detective hope.
yeah, did he call?
Just to inquire, at that point in time, had Heather Daybell contacted you about any of this?
At that point in time, I don't know that Heather and I had conversation about that. I can't recall.
You?
No,
Was it-
he didn't call me. It was another individual. And so, yeah, that's where I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit weird here. And so I thought I'd reach out to you to find out, what's going on. And so,
So
anyway.
we pretty much blocked them. It's a simple situation, but we just can't tell you because then you'd have to be involved.
Yeah.
No, I get it. That's fine. So at that point, they're talking about bringing down like a host of like FBI people involved and stuff.
You just heard Chad describe the situation as a simple situation.
Correct.
And he said, I can't tell you because I don't want to get you involved.
That was what was stated.
And you said, okay, I understand. What did you mean by that comment?
At that point, I felt that it possibly was a smaller situation. I didn't know what the situation was. And so at that stage, I think he was just trying to keep me out of the loop. And I'm like, I don't
Just a-
want, I don't need that. It's Christmas. So, that's where I'm just going, all right, that's interesting. So, okay.
Well, if you don't know anything, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
No, I don't know anything. And so that's good news at that point in time. So, okay.
I don't know how they would have done that other than Heather. She knows our friendship.
Oh, sure. No, of course. And so, yeah. And that's where I was like, yeah, maybe I better get a heads up about what they might have to say or what's going to happen or what they're talking about doing. And so if you've got that name on that, I'll just say, hey, look, you know what, you may just want to go talk to these people. I don't need to, be involved in the whole thing. So,
I'll text you the attorney's name. He's a calm, collected individual. We're happy with him, but
gotcha. So
It's-
on that, it just,
Give everybody that we know, it's just so dumb.
so on that, is this an attorney that's just, is he out where you're at? Is he local? How would I, if I needed to?
he's in Rexburg.
He's a Rexburg attorney? Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
It's Pittsburgh police who are being whatever.
yeah, they took
It's
on,
Heather's in-law
right.
is this detective that's bugging everybody. So
Yeah. They seem to think that there's stuff that's being hidden and that they're wanting to try to get to the bottom of what's being hidden. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It kind of catches you off guard when you have them call you up and start chatting with you. And you're going, okay, I don't know anything about this stuff here. And so, yeah.
This is a different issue that doesn't involve any Douglases.
Okay. Well, with that being the case, that's fine. I just thought it
that you're being bothered.
no,
Or
that's
sorry,
fine.
being bothered.
I think they're just trying to
Just to be clear, Mr. McWilliam, who are the Douglases that are being referenced?
that would be in reference to my wife's family. We all lived within a close proximity to each other.
Is Douglas your wife and Tammy's maiden name?
Yes, it is. Just go down every possible route and road that they can, I suppose. And so,
And so if they happen to bother Ron and Phyllis or anybody, just the same attorney.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you'll get me that information, that would be helpful with regards to that. So, that
Yeah,
way,
texted to.
Bartholic, Sean Bartholic.
Yeah, it's a
is his
weird name.
What, Sean what? Bart?
Bartholic.
Oh, Bartholic, okay. Bart. Yeah, that is a little different.
So when they, but
Yeah, that works out just fine, so.
this detective is Matt and Heather's daughter's father-in-law.
Oh, okay, so there's a relation to
Oh,
Heather with regards to
Hey,
everything.
or what? He is
We don't
just
know if
so
he's getting paid
persistent.
off or what, but he's bugging everybody we know for
It's
no reason.
basically a
And he won't even
custom-
call us. He doesn't call us ever to ask us any questions. He's just trying to get information from anybody else that will give him information.
Sweet, so should I tell him to call you and you'll give him the information so they'll leave me alone?
Yes.
All right, maybe I'll do that. If they say come over, I'll say, hey, you got their number, call them. You know, and so
It's like he's circling us rather than talking direct.
so he's
Exactly.
basically taking every angle possible and trying to come in and chat with you guys rather than just saying, hey, pick up the phone and call you and you'll chat with him. Nice.
I changed this number.
What
And
now?
Garth gave him my number 3 weeks
They've
ago.
had the numbers.
Oh, no kidding. Well,
Just won't call me.
I'll just tell him, pick up the phone and call the guy. Hello, it's not that hard, you know, reach out and touch someone. So
Well, probably just start with the attorney's
I'll
number.
just say,
at this
here, you
point.
know what, go talk to Mark or whatever you are at. And so anyway, so
You can say that. You can say that we've been instructed by our family attorney to not speak to any police, and here's his number. You can contact him, and that he can cover the whole entire family.
okay.
Jason, at that point, from your perspective, did you see any need not to talk to police?
I did not see a need for them not to communicate with the police.
Did you personally have any concerns if the police were going to interact with you about this issue?
No.
We heard the name Ron and Phyllis. Who is that?
Ron and Phyllis are Chad and I's in-laws.
No, that's fine. So you guys,
By our family attorney. This is his name, so here you go.
well, no, that's fine. That's what I'll do at that point.
Just to all your family.
And then I'll just turn around and say, by the way, if you want to just pick up the phone and call him, why don't you? So
Right.
anyway, that's,
That's what I told him.
oh, did he? So are the kids, what are their plans for Christmas then? Are they just gonna be hunkered down? Are they back in Rexburg at home?
Emma's gonna stay. Garth and Leah are gonna go on a little vacation.
Okay. Are they,
At that point in time, Mr. William, when you said, are the kids going to be back in Rexburg, which kids were you referring to?
I was referring to my nieces and nephews, Chad's children.
At that point in time, did you have any information or ideas where JJ and Tylee were?
I had no idea.
Did you have any information at that point about where Chad and Lori were?
I did.
Did it come from Chad?
I don't recall who it came from, whether it was through him or through his children. I don't recall.
going before, we were talking, I do that trip every year that I take the kids on.
Right.
That I just get away beforehand. And I actually thought about going up to the hardware ranch. And I was gonna call Garth and say, hey, everybody else is married. Why don't you come go to the hardware ranch and have a square or something with us?
I think they're gonna leave the 23rd. So
Oh, okay. That would put him, Well-
that's gonna head out to. I think Garth's actually going down this weekend to.
I
talk
did hear he was coming down. He was gonna be down. They didn't make it last week. And I guess it snowed quite a bit or I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. I don't want to drive the Moab Pass in a snowstorm either. So,
Car.
yeah.
So anyway, in terms of Tammy's autopsy or whatever, I did talk to. You probably heard from Ron and Phyllis how that went.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't. Samantha did, and I haven't been home to get a chance to chat with her about it all yet. And so,
One day last Wednesday, a week ago, I haven't heard a thing.
oh, no
That's just
kidding.
because I have not heard a thing. If Lori and I didn't hear through relatives, we would have no idea.
No, and that surprised me because someone had said, "Hey, go check out the cemetery," and I'm going, "Okay, why? I don't go to the cemetery. I'm not the former Chad Daybell, the guy that digs up." And so I go over and I'm like, where's the grass?" Of course, Samantha at that point, okay, what's going on? I don't know. I don't know. So when we talked to you last week, I hadn't heard anything, and then a couple of days later, people are going, "Hey, there's stuff going on around here. You may want to go take a look." Okay, that'd be good to know. So anyway, yeah. What do you got planned for Christmas then? Anything good? Did I lose you? Oh, you there?
Hello?
Oh, there you are. I
Oh.
say, as far as Christmas goes, what do you got planned then on that?
We're just where we're at for now.
I think it's breaking up on me. What was that?
We're not going to Idaho.
No, you don't want to go to Idaho, so that's for sure. He's going to be hanging out doing I'm just curious to know how Melikuliki Maka Hawaiian Christmas works out. So I guess I'm just jealous more than anything else. So anyway, did I lose you? Think I lost you. I lost you.
Mr. William, I'm just, again, having listened to the full audio, is there any reason for you to think that that audio was altered in any way?
I don't believe it was.
You could capture the full conversation.
Yes, sir.
What did you mean when you told Chad, you don't want to go to Idaho? What was your reference about that?
He had informed me that basically he didn't want to have to talk to cops face to face. He'd rather just them call. And so I just making small talk at that point.
At that point in time, or any time subsequent to that, I'm sorry, did you ever talk to Chad again?
That was the last communication Chad and I ever had.
And
Okay, yeah. I think lots of nervous laughter. And I do think you're right. I think they hung up as soon as he said something about Hawaii, like, crap, he knows where we're at. Because I don't think they thought he knew that they were in Hawaii, right? So they may have thought, uh-oh. Do you agree? I hope one of the Daybell kids testifies for the prosecution. A girl can hope. Oh, they won't. But maybe the prosecution will be able to sort of swindle them into telling the truth if they have some good cross-examination. That's my hope. Small talk, as he said, he knew the police were listening and recording. He may have hoped for future calls for the police to listen to. Yeah. I see what you're saying. But I don't know if Lori had met them upside down. Yeah, it doesn't sound like, because he's kind of talking about the snow and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's like blurts out the Hawaii thing, you know? Odd. And then the call's gone. Because remember, they were hiding. So we didn't know where they were. Right? Oh, yeah, Layton. John Pryor will be objecting a lot when the Daybell kids are being cross-examined. Stacy, denial can be life-altering and also can be lifelong. And I think those kids cannot. Well, first of all, just listening to Emma and her conversation with Chad, she is such a chatty girl, daddy's girl, chatty daddy's girl. I mean, she's even hiding crap from her husband, Joseph, for her dad. So, nope. She jumped in like they were old pals. She did, right? She's like, oh. But Lori, yeah, it was so weird. Like, such a weird situation. But those kids were missing. And Stacey, I saw that you said that you thought at one point that maybe the kids were hidden. I know. You know what? I thought maybe they were hidden until the zombie letter came out. Once that came out with what Melanie Gibbs said about the zombies and all that, I was like, oh my God, these kids are not alive. Hoped though. I hoped they were, but it got too weird. Right, Valerie? He was probably thinking, shut up, Lori. Yeah, I agree. It actually told a lot when Emma said, don't tell my husband. Yeah, she mentioned a couple times about the money. She wasn't going to tell Joseph, and then don't tell my husband. You know, she was definitely more on the Chad side. I wonder if Chad was marking Joseph dark at all, warning Emma. Because I don't think Chad would want Emma to have a guy around. I really don't. I think Chad's super possessive about his people, his kids. Everybody needs to think like me. I'm Chad. My kids are, I'm their hero kind of thing. Don't be bringing another dude in. I don't know. That's just my weird gut feeling on Chad with his daughter having a husband. I could hear him like saying, "Well, I have this feeling to my pendulum says that your husband Joseph is turning dark. We can try to cast this out, but he may be getting there. Don't tell him certain things. You have to protect yourself, daughter Emma." That's my opinion. But the prosecution, let me see, but the prosecution has done a great job undermining their credibility from the get-go with the car, dash video, and the questions to Heather Jason. Yes, absolutely. They've laid a good foundation. Yes, I did have interaction with Joseph. I need to find that. He was really protecting Chad and Lori back then in the beginning when the kids were missing. And anybody on social media that was thinking that Chad and Lori were not good or something bad happened to those kids, he was challenging them. He sent me a private message on my Facebook. I'm sure I have a copy of it somewhere. I don't know. Can you go back that far in Facebook messages? I don't think so. Let's see. In Messenger. Let me look. No. I don't think I can. I'm sure I have a screenshot or something. Oh, Shirley, thank you for gifting memberships. Very thankful. The more members, the better. Grow the community. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Shirley. And YouTube picks these randomly, guys. So if you get picked to be a member, you got them free month. I'm surprised Chad wanted Tammy's sister close. Perhaps he thought he could convert them to his ideas. Yeah. Joe would have been after Kay and Larry, in my opinion. Yeah. There you go. Language of Horses got one. I can't believe with all the evidence, Chad refused a plea deal. He appears smug and creepy. I know, right? Like I think he thinks he can get out of this. I mean, so far we haven't heard anything that said, I, Chad Daybell, want to kill these children. And, but I'm sorry if they were found on your property, Chad. There's and then the fact, my biggest smoking gun in this whole thing that I've heard so far, and I said this the other day, is the fact that Chad said to Emma when Chad was in the back of the police car that there's nothing in the house. Like he wasn't worried about in the house at all. Like he knew there was nothing in the house, but there was stuff in the yard. And putting that together with his call from Lori during the time they were searching. What do you mean they're searching in the house again? They would have had to offer a plea. I don't believe they did. I would imagine that. Who was it? Was Nate saying that there was talk of plea deal, but it didn't go anywhere? I would think the only plea deal they would offer is, sorry, you're going to life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. I think that would have been the property. No, the property. Yeah. So I think that Chad had no really good choice other than to get in front of a jury, right? If they were, because they weren't going to give him a plea deal like possibility of parole or you can get out of this, or, you know, you serve 10 years or whatever. I think it was going to be death penalty, or you can plead a life in prison. And he's not going to do that. He's hoping that, you know, he can get off. One juror is gonna believe his side, you know. I think so. Did anyone catch what was written on the sticky notes from the Hawaii search? If I remember correctly, from Lori's trial, it was something about Brandon, but I may be wrong. Yeah, I couldn't see that, and I forgot to go back and try to see it better. Ah, I see what you're saying, Stacy. Okay, I believe that talk of a plea was when they could have one of them talk about the other. Lori had the death penalty taken off the table first. Right. Because when you listen back to Rob Wood's conversation with Summer that they will not allow to be submissible in court, that's what we should listen to. Let me see if I can find that. 1 second. Because it's not submissible in the trial. Recorded. Okay, hold on. I think I found. Let me see. Get it at play. I don't know if it's the whole thing. Maybe. Okay, hold on. I think it's this is from one of the pre-trials. Let me see. This may or may not be the right one. Let's listen to this because this is big. When it came down to possibly doing any kind of deals, Rob Wood was really trying to get Lori to throw Chad under the bus and talking to Summer about it. And this conversation was recorded by Summer's attorney, who's also Melanie P's attorney and Zulema's attorney, Garrett, who was in the courtroom last week and they had him leave. So hold on, let's see if we can do this. Okay. Present here. Kitty cat. All right, this is old off Facebook. Nate Eaton had recorded this. So let's see if this is the right stuff.
So you can go ahead and publish that at this time, Mr. Pryor, if you so choose.
And Mr. Means, you had spoken to me earlier this morning and indicating that you had that available. I would defer to you if you could record, if you could publish that for us, please, sir.
Will do.
They're the ones kind of running down the kid's case because they were last seen in Rexford. Or were last living in Rexford.
Right.
Tyler was last seen in Yellowstone, but and so we were the ones that like knew everything about the case, and so they assigned us on that. I'm just going to tell you right now, we are going to be filing conspiracy to commit murder charges against both Chad and Lori.
Good.
And we're not shy about that. I've told their attorneys. His attorney keeps pretending like I've never said that. Whatever. What? But we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. But I kind of want to give you like a little bit of background of where we are and kind of like our kind of theory of how this ended up where it was. We know that this is not the same Lori everyone else knew. What's so strange to me is everyone we talked to who knew Lori before this, right? Well, she was primary president. She made quilts for these kids. She made everything fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loved her. She loved everyone.
Great mom.
Great mom. That's what everyone says. And you know, so the one thing I'm going to kind of ask you to consider is maybe something happened. I don't know what. I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But something happened, and I think Colby, the way he said it to me, I think it's kind of it's like the person who's in that jail cell is not my mom, it's someone else.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is that I shouldn't say the flip side, but I want to be clear, I'm not going to pull any punches on any defendant in this case, right? Like, I've got my job to do.
Absolutely.
But we also want the truth and the whole truth and the context of it. And Chad Daybell is, did you ever meet Chad?
So I met him once at a preparing people. I went to one preparing people thing, and my mom and husband and I went to support Lori, and she wanted to support Mel. So we went and met Chad after he talked for like 90 seconds, maybe, if that. And then he called me when Lori got transferred to the Idaho jail. He texted me and said, Lori wanted to talk to me. And I was like, yeah. And then the second I hung up with her, he called me to ask me about bail for Lori. So I've talked to him maybe 3 times briefly on the phone, never a long extended conversation. But the first thing he said to me when he called me was that he said, Lori hasn't told me very much about the kids, so there's not really much I can tell you about it.
Right, of course you said that. Well, welcome to Chad Daybell. So what I want to kind of
I have my own opinions formed of him after all.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
He's highly manipulative.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm not going to say he's highly intelligent, but you don't have to be highly intelligent to be highly manipulative.
Absolutely.
He is extremely manipulative, and I want your sister manipulated him in some ways too, but the context for everything that happened came from Chad.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we have enough evidence to prosecute him, and we are. The case against your sister is stronger. But I kind of want to give you just that background. That's kind of the context we see this as. Like, this guy came in here, and again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, but kind of blew up this situation. And he did not care who died, who got hurt. He did not care at all. And the other thing I'm gonna tell you is your sister truly believes that everything she's done has been done in righteousness.
I know.
I know I'm kind of using LDS speak.
Yeah,
It's 100%. That's my interpretation also.
Yeah.
I think she 100%.
She believes it. Every once in a while, you'll see kind of a little crack in like a jail phone call. Or she'll.
Well, you've heard our conversations, so you know that I get that she's not fully aware of what she's really done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it this way. I think she knows what she's done.
She knew enough to lie to us about it.
Yeah, but the context under which it was done was this religious, just these ideas that are out there. I can say this because I am LDS, like no basis in the LDS faith. You said it in your phone call to her. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. And but again, we're just really grateful for you coming in. And it's going to be hard to talk about these things.
Oh, yeah.
We know that. And they're going to be nice. Because obviously, you're not even a person of interest.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Yeah. And, but part of what we need to do is understand when you have a case like this, it's not like just like a meth case. Like, oh, you had meth, no one cares who you are. And
Yeah, there's no drugs, no alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just
But this case is
yeah.
We need to understand the context of who these people are.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of what they're going to be asking you about.
Okay.
And
I'll do my best.
like I said, I know it won't be easy. I know it's going to be a hard interview. For you, but.
I was wondering if you would be willing to tell me, if you're able to tell me, if there's any progress in what you know about Tylee and her death. Is there any progress in her autopsy where you understand better?
All I can tell, well.
I mean, do you have a cause yet, or is it close to one?
She is at the FBI's state-of-the-art crime lab. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deceased bodies there that they're going through.
I'm sure.
And so we don't know really anymore yet. And we may never know due to the
Yeah.
the destruction of that body. And yeah, we hope we'll find out. We may not, but obviously we know it's her. There was soft tissue that was still preserved enough to do DNA tests.
Yeah, I'm thankful you guys found them. Like,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have ever known.
Yeah.
And I would have never dreamed that she would have ever heard them. So,
You know what? And everyone says that.
yeah.
That's what everybody says. I never would have. So it's a tragic thing.
It really is, yeah.
And but I just want you to know how grateful we are. I know you don't have to talk to us, and so we're just grateful that you're willing to and helping us that way. And I'm sure kind of difficult knowing like they're asking you for information that's going to help them in a case against your sister, but I guess the thing I want you to know is our whole goal is just justice for these kids, you know. And we, I mean, our hope as it comes to it, your sister's actually made some overtures. She might be willing to talk to us.
I hope she does. I pray for that all the time.
We hope she does.
Yeah.
She actually was talking with CHAD about talking to us before we found the bodies, just a few days before, and he talked her out of it, which is too bad. It would have been better for her to tell
Yeah,
us.
sure. It would
I
have been.
agree.
I mean, we were actually just finishing up our warrant on the day that she said that. We were just getting ready to go out there, but it would have been, that would have been even better. And he talked her out of it.
Yeah.
And then the night before, she says to him again, like, hey, what do you think about, and he uses this kind of, I call it spiritual abuse, spiritual manipulation.
Yeah.
We've all seen that guy in the LDS religion whose wife has to obey him because he has the priesthood type thing. And that's not what he says, but it's the same type of thing. Well, I'm the visionary guy. So, anyway, again, I just wanted to meet with you real quick, introduce myself and Mackenzie.
I've obviously seen you.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't take any joy in doing anything that's going to harm her. I don't take joy in her spending her life in prison. There's nothing.
Sure.
It hurts to think about her being in there.
There's nothing good about a case like this.
There's
right?
nothing good about it.
Even if you win a case like Garrett's been in court, like there's cases, as a prosecutor, like you take to trial and you win, and you're like, even at the end, you're like, well, nothing good is. It's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
The one thing, I said this to someone the other day who knows your sister, is our goal is sometimes you get a murder and all you have is that murder and you just have to run out and charge it and then kind of put it together. We were able to put them in jail with a high bail on these lower charges and put together a case. And our goal is to have such a strong case that when she has competent counsel, I don't know if you know this, her attorney's never handled a felony before. He has never done any meaningful criminal work at all. And he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise he's lying about me, but he doesn't know what he's doing. And once we file further charges, she will be appointed counsel who will know what they're doing. And our goal is to put together such a case that they're smart enough to say, it's going to be better to talk, and I think we are, and make it easier for everyone, make it easier, especially, for Colby. Like if there's someone who's lost everything, it's him. So anyway, I mainly just wanted to thank you for coming and being with us. And
it's weird to be on the prosecution and defense's side at the same time because I love everybody.
Well, it's a system. I did defense work for I did it for 5 years, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I like defending.
And and I gave me that perspective, right? Like just because someone's committed a crime doesn't mean they're a horrible person.
So I'm so torn with all of it's such a conflicting feeling to know that this person's been good her whole life and then has made this error in judgment and got sucked into this vortex of this man. And I feel for her. I just have so much compassion towards her because I know that's not what she would have ever done on her own.
Right.
And so she has to pay the price for this forever. And I hate that for her. So I'm very conflicted. But I was going to ask you on the concealment, or not the concealment, but on the conspiracy to commit murder, what's the weight of that in terms of jail time? Is that a death penalty thing, or
It is a death penalty case now.
are you planning to ask for that for them, or do you not?
We
know
sure
yet?
hope we don't. A lot of that will depend on her.
Okay.
And it's, that's not a decision, or that's a decision we don't make actually until usually after the case is filed.
Okay.
And I know we have a couple months, because a lot of times you file it, it's out there on the table, and then oftentimes that's a big motivator for people to get together and talk and try and resolve it. And that's what we hope happens. I have no desire to do that. Plus, once you do that, it's endless appeals.
Yeah.
I don't think the other family wants it at all, because the
Prolonged.
case just never resolves,
Yeah.
really, in a way. Just kind of, they appeal this and they appeal that, and it can go on forever. So we're sure hoping not to go down there. Now, I'm not saying I won't. If we go to trial, I might, but we haven't made up our minds on that.
Okay.
But we don't want to. I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart.
Knowing her, if she comes out of this state and realizes the weight of it, she may prefer that. Honestly, I think about that all the time with her, just because of what she's been through. I'm just kidding.
Well, I know that you know a lot more about Lori than I do, but we have learned a lot about Lori, and there's I mean, there's been some things happen in her life, I think, that have played into this.
Oh, definitely.
And so, but yeah, like I said, I talk about it in one way a little bit, sure, but I want you to know that I have no desire to.
Yeah, I think you see it for what it is.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know how you couldn't with interviewing everybody.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, when I was there in Hawaii, when that the order to produce the children was served, and I was there when they served the search warrants, where the news showed up, which I was super annoyed by that. I never wanted it. It's just blows everything up, right? At that moment, when we saw them, your sister can put on a brave face.
Oh yeah.
We were like, oh, does this guy know what he's gotten into?
Mm-hmm.
And because she was just very, very stoic, very like, I'm not going to say a word. And he looked like he was about to pee his pants, because he's actually a wimpy person.
Yeah.
Is he wimpy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great if he has someone else to do something for him, but he himself is a person.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, they're like, this is all her. Like, how is she hoodwink this guy? But then once we like dug into, that was the beginning, as we're like starting to get facts. As we got more facts, like, oh, again, I'm not going to pull punches if I have to go to trial, but these ideas came from him.
Oh yeah.
And she had some different views on theology than like standard LDS by that point, but he really knew how to manipulate that and turn it into something even more.
His influence was there before she met him.
Yes. Yeah, she was reading his books for.
Wasn't just his books. So it was like the Julie Rowe podcasts.
Oh yes.
He gave Julie Rowe a lot of her ideas. And so when she would listen to Julie Rowe, she was getting CHAD ideas too at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Julie Rowe. She's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I've heard some of her podcasts. When she started talking about herself in third person all the time, I'm like,
Yeah, I listen to her podcast as well, and interesting stuff.
Garrett doesn't like it when people talk about themselves in the third person.
Neither does Rob. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll let you get going and start on this.
I was going to see if you guys wanted some wristbands to take back with you. These are wristbands I had made up for Tylee and JJ.
I'll put them.
And
That's all right.
Take them as you
take
want.
them and give them to everybody.
Sorry. I'll tell you
Take
what.
some for, if you want them, we did a balloon release.
They've got a couple of wristbands for. Let's see. There's Ron, Ray.
You can just take the whole bag with you. It's fine. Just take.
Oh, do you have more than this?
Oh, I have plenty.
Okay.
I had
You
hundreds
can't
of them.
order less than 100, so you know.
Yeah, no, I made up hundreds for, I started off just doing them for Tylee and JJ's friends and teachers. We wear ours all the time, so just keep them close.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
You've been in it.
It's
you
an
know.
emotional thing.
You know, it's interesting how you can, in Rexburg, those kids went there very long. But there are kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Anytime there's kids involved,
Yeah.
it's not okay.
so, thank you.
Yes.
There's not a one among us that doesn't want to protect the kids,
Right.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, well, I'll text Nathan. If you need, I don't know how long this, if we want to leave us down, how many days it is. We obviously don't have that. Any breaks you need anything?
Yeah, I'll run it. You bet. Yeah. I told him she's got questions, needs to ask me or needs to use the bathroom, and we'll shut it down and do all that. So.
I'm on the wrong phone.
Sorry, I had to turn that off before I came back. Where'd the chat go? My chat went away. Hold on. Can you guys hear me? My chat literally disappeared. Comments are gone. Where'd you go? Comments. Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry. Having issues. God, my computer's acting up. Chad, stop it. Okay, I have to answer a question. Oh, this one. Valerie, Lori, I have a feeling JR was the start of Chad's path of destruction. So when we did the deep dive on Chad, according to Chad, what I've found to be the case is Chad, because of his connection with the one, what was the name of the book company that he was with first, and then he was gone, and then they wound up publishing Visions of Glory, and Visions of Glory made so much money, and he wanted that. So when he hooked up with Julie Rowe and she had all these visions and he published her books, he wanted one of those NDE, because even way back in like the 70s, there was a very popular book that came out that was about near-death experiences. So Chad was trying to ride the coattails of near-death experiences to make money. And then that's when he started making up his own lies, in my opinion, of his own near-death experiences, because those books make a lot of money. And he was trying to get that. He was trying to be one of those people. So JR, with her visions, that was one of his ways to do it. I thought we saw a photo of Summer and the gang eating a group snack. See, I don't know, but in that conversation just now, did anybody hear it? She said, he asked her if she's ever met Chad, and she said just very briefly for about 90 seconds or something like that. I think Chad started with his father. He was the one. He wasn't the one the brother was. Yeah, he was very jealous of his brothers too. William LaGoya, Lori's second husband, is Colby's bio dad, although I don't know that the picture is actually him. It looks a lot like Lori's brothers. There is a picture of him somewhere out there, and I did see that, and I think Colby looks very much like him. Greed and lust, exactly, Valerie. I also think Charles and Lori did get sealed in the temple. Oh, they did. They probably did. Knowing Lori's faith and Charles converting, I would bet they did. You think Summer was lying to Rob Wood in that case? Well, I wouldn't be surprised, especially back then, right? So, let's see. It was so funny when Jason said Chad became even more derailed when he started publishing a certain author, and everyone said in a chorus, JR. Yep, totally. for sure. And I guess I just heard this. I haven't been following her very well, but you guys all told me that her new husband is divorcing her because he doesn't believe her crap, and she's off her meds again, acting cuckoo nuts. So anyway, okay, so we've been an hour into the show. I really want to talk about the Micah Miller case briefly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it or not, but it's full of rabbit holes. And first of all, everybody was blaming her husband, who is a pastor, but he's an a-hole and very manipulative and all that, right? So then they see her buying a gun on camera. The police put all this out there, and then there's a 911 call. Now, I have my own theory about the 911 call, but let me just go over the timeline of Micah Miller really quick. She's 30 years old, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and which is on the border of North Carolina. I always get it backwards, but Myrtle, because I would go to North Carolina, but I'd fly to Myrtle Beach, which is in South Carolina. So I'm always wrong when I say north or south, but I think that's the right way. So let me find her timeline real quick. And then I want to play a video of her dad being interviewed. That gives some new information that I didn't have yesterday. Let's see. I want to get the right timeline up here. And there's some really interesting information about JP, her husband's current girlfriend, who recently had a paraplegic husband die by suicide by drowning in the swimming pool. Not suspicious at all. So let me give you the background a little bit better on Micah Miller. Timeline. Okay. All righty. Let me present. And share screen. All right. So here is the timeline. I got to close some stuff here because my computer doesn't like all this stuff open. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my computer's hopping around. I just think I have too much stuff open on my computer right now, so it's acting up. Okay, so I will play the 911 call. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, but I want the timeline. Okay, so April 27th, Micah Miller's whereabouts at 10:13 a.m. Hold on one second, folks. Okay, is it going to stop bouncing around? I'm just waiting for it to totally load. Okay. On April 27th, 2024, Micah Miller's whereabouts. At 10:13 a.m., she is seen on her Ring camera leaving her residence on Margarita Drive in Myrtle Beach. At 11 a.m., she comes back to her house, arriving back, okay? And then at 11:38 a.m., She's seen on a Ring camera leaving again. She's looking at her phone. She's leaving. At 12:12 p.m., she's seen in a store surveillance walking into Dick's Pawn Shop, which is located in Myrtle Beach. And that's her car, and that's her in the yellow circles. Then at 12:13, unless she took that jacket off because she's wearing something different, but at 12:13, she's seen buying a weapon and leaving Dick's Pawn Shop after purchasing the weapon and ammunition. Then her black Honda. Now, there's some weird theories on this too. There's a very good old friend of Micah's that's really digging deep with a private investigator on this stuff and has some really interesting TikToks on it. And she's not normally a TikTok person. She's just doing it because she wants to bring attention to Micah's case. Okay, so her black Honda is traveling on Highway 501 near 4 Mile Road in Conway. Then her black Honda Accord is seen arriving at this grocery and grill, which is located at Highway 41 in Mullins. And then she leaves the store at 1:35 after buying a drink, and she got gas in her car. Okay, so there's an hour and a half, 1:35 to 2:54. That's when the 911 call was made from an 843 area code number. Micah asked if her phone could be located and then threatened suicide. Micah hung up the phone before further information could be gathered by dispatch. And the telecommunicator tried to call her back multiple times and was unable to make contact. So I will play that 911 call. Okay, let me play it. And trigger warning, please. FYI, it deals with suicide, so.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
At National Park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Bear Bluff.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on. I just did my my location.
Okay, I'm showing, hold on one second. I don't think you are in Robeson County. Are you at the Lumber River State Park?
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
Your legislation creates opportunity zones to give everyone the opportunity to experience the American dream, regardless of where they live. He is.
So as far as the cloning, I don't know. I know I can clone and type and make it talk on the app I found. So if someone's a really big, well, that's a good theory too, Liza Joe. Is she trying to signal the operator? Like she did that call with the phone when he wasn't paying attention or something? Because that is a good theory. Maybe she was trying to tell them to come help her. I don't know though. Okay, but I want you guys to listen to Ashley Banfield interview her dad and her sister. So let me share that one too. I don't know if he made her call. It's really weird because they say he has an alibi, and he was in Charleston, I believe they say, but he was there the day before. But the friend on TikTok, her name is Tyler, not Tyler on TikTok. And she said there's a binder of proof of everything that will go public. They also feel like the law enforcement didn't really do a good job because of the 911 call. His alibi is his girlfriend, whose husband recently committed suicide, the paraplegic dude that drowned in a pool. There's just a lot of weird stuff. You guys, the more I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, another rabbit hole, another rabbit hole, another rabbit hole. But there's a lot to it. But let me play the Ashley Banfield interview with her dad. Give me 1 second. Let me cue that up for you. Okay, here we go.
Father, Michael Francis, and her big sister, Destiny Barrientos. Thank you to both of you. And may I just say, I am so sorry to be meeting you under these circumstances. And my heart goes out to your family in dealing with what you are coping with. I cannot imagine being in your shoes. Michael, if I may begin with you, you feel that the investigation has been less than complete, to say the least, on Micah's death. What do you believe happened? What is your theory of how Micah died?
My theory of how Micah died. Well, I know she was pushed to the brink. I know that there is no reason for her to be out there in that area. We've never been there. She's never been there. I mean, my theory is broad right now. There's bruises on her hand. There's injury to her other arm, like a handprint. And these things were not documented, and they did not show up for no reason. And we were not satisfied with the answers that we were given in the entirety. It didn't seem like enough was done. And we just want more answers. We want more checking into this.
And Destiny, the investigators still have not released Micah's personal possessions, like her cell phone in particular, which is a pretty critical piece of evidence. Tell me why it is so important for the family to get those things back.
Micah had been gathering information to help with her divorce for quite a while, previous to her commitment to the hospital that was unwilling. She had all of her stuff on her phone at that time and her laptop. When she was committed against her will, John Paul had went to the hospital to pick up her items, deleted all of her information off of those items, and held them till they were past the date that we could recover anything. So it's very vital for us to get this cell phone that she currently had because we do believe that there could be quite a bit of evidence on there.
Michael, one of the things that I think has stuck with a lot of people is that Micah met John Paul when she was in the youth ministry in the church, when she was just 14,
Correct.
and he was a leader in the church. That did not escape a lot of people. Ultimately, they ended up married. But is there something that you and the family know or feel or believe about Micah's claim that she was being groomed from the time she was a child?
Absolutely. Yes, her demeanor changed over time, and she became more and more compressed, less and less of herself. And as soon as they got married, her behavior went downhill fast as far as being her lively, jovial self. And she seems to be more sad, more under control, and didn't seem to be her free self, didn't seem to be able to accomplish things she wanted to without him causing them to end. She would do something amazing, and he would shut it down and would not repeat function. I just believe he really compressed her. I really believe that he just sucked the life right out of her and caused her to go downhill from the moment after they got married, the moment after he forced her to have a certain surgery, and she had a violent reaction from the anesthesia, and he took advantage of that.
What kind of surgery are you saying he forced her to have?
I would rather not say.
Okay, I understand. But I do want to pull on that thread a little. Do you believe that John Paul Miller had inappropriate sexual contact with Micah before she was legally allowed to be in that kind of a relationship? Do you think there could be charges in terms of the age difference between them?
Right. I'm unaware of anything that occurred when she was still a young teen, 14 or so. Destiny, do you have anything? I'm not sure.
As far as him reaching out to her and continuously texting her while she was a teen, he convinced her to get away from our family during her teens, told her that he would find different households for her to live in within the church to get her away from our family, as well as he helped her get a car and told her to find adults and tell them stories that they could trust, to get her away from our family. And that's how he initially isolated her during her teens.
Do you think, Destiny, that he was having a sexual relationship with her when she was underage?
That I can't lay any claim to. I'm not exactly sure to the extent of the relationship at that time, other than the getting her away from the family, getting her to talk to other people, and putting her in homes of other family members. But that is when I believe that the initial grooming did start.
And Destiny, just describe some of the changes that you saw in your sister after she married John Paul.
Micah was so full of life. She was funny and energetic, someone that just lit up every room that she walked into. And once they were together, especially for that first initial couple years, I mean, she just deteriorated. She was not herself. You could see that maybe she was you could see just the downfall in her personality as far as becoming sad or trying to put on a mask to not let people in of her own private, from what I'm finding out, on her own private hell.
Michael, is there a chance that you and your family will launch any kind of civil litigation against John Paul Miller, whether it's wrongful death or whether it's an encouragement for the police to launch criminal charges for anything they may discover in the evidence that we've been able to unearth, the stalking and the harassment, the physical evidence and the admissions and the emails, even to our producer, that he had done those things?
Absolutely. We're going to push for every law that can help and push for laws that don't even exist yet. We need a lot of support. We need people that can help write new laws if necessary, and staff this situation to springboard forward and protect Micah and also protect anybody else in the future. And we'll definitely pursue that. Wrongful, everything. He has caused terrible pain and tragedy throughout this.
Michael, what was the last conversation you had with your daughter, Micah?
It was about it was, let's see, it was the day before. Gosh, it was basically about how things were going. I was talking with her about music, and we wanted to do some recording, and she just absolutely had no signs of anything drastic in her life that would be that bad. She did mention that she was feeling some depression, and she was didn't understand. She didn't understand why this pressure was coming back, because she was feeling better and better the longer she was away from John Paul. And I believe it's due to the stalking and the slashing her tires and causing her just pressure, as she felt like she had to look over her shoulder all the time. So she felt like she needed a weapon to protect herself. So, this is not normal. She was not in a situation where we would think, oh, we need to be watching her, or, I left, she was doing fine. She had a job, she was moving forward. And then suddenly, here we go. Here we are.
Michael Francis and Destiny Barrientos, thank you so much for being on the program and sharing this information. And please keep us apprised of anything that happens in the coming days and weeks. I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, so let me share this other information about they brought up the stalking and the slash tires and that kind of stuff. So let me share this other screen for you guys to see this. All right. So police records show 4 instances of GPS trackers reported on Micah Miller's vehicles. So this is a brand new article. It's dated yesterday at 4:54 p.m. Eastern Time. More than a month before authorities said Micah Miller died by suicide in Robeson County, police reports obtained by News 13 show 4 different instances which GPS tracking devices were reported to have been found on vehicles linked to her. Horry County Police investigated the first incident on March 11th. All right, 2 months ago, literally. After Miller filed 2 complaints after she said a tire on her vehicle was slashed while she was at the Spring-Made Pier. Mechanics at East Honda on Highway 17. Sorry, I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Bypass found the tracking device while repairing the tire. Miller's name is also associated with reports filed in Myrtle Beach on March 14th, March 26th, and April 15th. She filed for divorce from her husband, John Paul Miller, on April 25th and was found dead from a gunshot wound on April 27th at the Lombard River State Park near Lumberton. The reports do not give any indication from police about who placed the trackers on the vehicles. However, after her death, Micah's sister and brother alleged in affidavits filed in Horry County Probate Court that she had been abused by her husband and that she had feared for her life amid the split from John Paul. In those same documents, Micah's brother, Nathaniel Francis, also said that Micah forwarded him an email from John Paul in which he apologized for the tires and causing damage to her vehicle. On Thursday, John Paul's attorney, Russell Long, refuted those claims in a release to the media, saying the claims made in a police report that Miller abused his wife and groomed her from the age of 10 were false. Long after Micah had a history of mental health problems, and some reports made her in the recent past nonsensical. Now, that's more of that gaslighting crap, because I found a sermon of his where he's talking about he has mental health issues, that he's on lithium. So projection, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to this. Micah and her brother Nathaniel are listed as involved others in the report filed on March 14th after Myrtle Beach police were called to her apartment on Margarita Drive in the Market Common area. According to the report, the GPS device was found underneath the back bumper between 2 wheel wells. It was attached to the chassis with magnets and had been removed before officers arrived. The third report, filed by Micah on March 26th, indicates the police met with her at her apartment on Margarita Drive, where she told officers she had found a tracking device on her car 2 days earlier. Police documents indicate that she believed that John Paul had placed the device on the vehicle. Police collected the device as evidence, but the report does not provide additional details. In the fourth report filed by Micah on April 15th, she reported to authorities that she had found a heavy-duty tracker placed on her vehicle by John Paul and wanted to turn it over as evidence. The report noted that it was not the first such complaint police had taken from Micah. The report also said an officer told Micah that it was a civil matter and that she should keep the device because the two were still legally married. News 13 reached out to John Paul's attorney early Friday for comment about the story. Has not received a response. So there's so much crap, but here's something that somebody posted of John Paul. This was posted 22 hours ago. Also, John Paul has 5 children with another woman, and there was a lot of domestic abuse issues in that family as well. And this is a really crazy video. I'm sure you haven't seen this because I was digging this morning. Let me get it up. Hold on one second. Okay, and now remember, he's a pastor, preacher, whatever in this town. So this cop recognizes him as he's walking up, and it's kind of inaudible, but he's literally lost his mind. He looks like a homeless, hallucinating drug addict here. Hold on one second.
JP. You all right, man? You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter?
Switch medication. Makes me go crazy.
Is somebody helping you?
I think Mark's coming to get me.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was going to see Jesus.
Okay. But you got Mark coming?
Somebody called him, I think.
Okay.
I feel like he survived me. I can't
So,
want to see Jesus. Because he ants biting me everywhere.
is your medication something they gave you?
Yes, I'm a drug.
Yeah.
There's some new doses or something.
You want me to make sure Mark's coming?
Yeah, all I do is find out whether the phone's on me. I don't know.
But somebody's called him, right?
Yeah, the lady across the street called.
Okay. All right. Hey, JP. I think Mark is coming. I had him try to get in touch with him again to make sure. Is that okay? Huh?
My ants fight me. There's ants all over me.
Feels like there's ants on you? There's no ants on you, though. It's just, maybe that's how you feel, but there's none on you. There's none on the grass. What kind of medicine do they have you on? All right, well, somebody's going to come, okay?
Okay, there's that. And then this is remember Robbie Harvey? This is a clip that he has real quick. I want to show you this because he follows these domestic abuse cases. Hold on. Let me get it up. And he has a TikTok, good to follow. I guess he used to be an abuser and he's trying to bring awareness because he's changed his ways. So hold on 1 second. Ugh.
I looked at her phone and I counted over the past 2 years, 18 people who had texted her and said, if you ever want to talk about your husband, you can talk to me and say anything and I'll keep it confidential. Why the heck does somebody want to hear what somebody else says about their spouse? And 2 of those 18 were men. I thought, what? And I was thinking when I read that, I thought, Mark Cass today, he's one of our elders here, and Jackie, she oversees our New Testament discipleship. Could you see Mark calling another woman and saying, you know what, I just want to tell you some things about my wife I don't like? Or could you see Jackie calling a woman or a man, either one? No, if someone wants to call you and say bad things about somebody else, that's a demon talking to you. And the only way to respond is with the word of God.
Going through 2 years worth of messages on his wife's phone, the pastor seems frustrated that people would reach out to talk to her about him. And the questionable remarks, whether directly or indirectly, didn't stop there.
Pride and mental illness, or I think mental illness is probably the most horrible thing we can face in our bodies. And pride is probably the most horrible thing we can face in our spirits. And here's why. When you're mentally ill, it's the one sickness you have that you don't know you're sick. And you have to trust people around you because you're saying, no, they're lying to me. They're telling me I need medicine. I don't need medicine, because the thing that's sick is your mind. And your mind is what you need to realize that you're sick. One day I'm going to preach about getting rich, strong, healthy, and finding a hot wife that loves Jesus. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just kidding. That was wrong. I told you I shouldn't be here today. I told you. Last year, my wife, they went to Africa, had a wonderful trip, amazing trip. And she came back with the idea to start a school in Africa. And 6 weeks ago, she goes in the hospital, gets out, and just leaves, just completely leaves me, leaves everything, drains the bank account, and goes. Guess what? While you're talking bad about me out there, I'm building a school in Africa for over 100 kids to be able to be fed.
And the pastor makes it very clear to his church on multiple occasions that every time someone rises up against him, God blesses him.
3 years ago, when the elders walked out on me and got so upset about stuff, the city of Myrtle Beach called us and they said, you guys just won the Best House of Worship Award, #1 church in all of Myrtle Beach. I thought, I didn't even know that. I said, how's that happen? They said, we phone call, we poll people all through the community. We look on social media, we see what people are saying, all these different things. And y'all got first place. Oh, that's so cool. 2 years ago when we started the school and people started giving me all kinds of problems and headache and things behind the scenes that had nothing to do with the school at all, got upset, stabbed me in the back. Myrtle Beach called us again. Guess what? Y'all got Best Church of the Year 2 years in a row. That's amazing. You can't keep me down. You're putting fuel in my plane. And guess who's not going to be in the plane? My enemies. You have to take a taxi if you want to get there. And I pray for you, my enemies. I pray that you come to a place of repentance. I pray that you realize you're not hurting me, you're hurting the kingdom of God.
And in this sermon, the pastor preaches that it's wrong for people to rise up against religious leaders.
So long story short, Korah gets 2 other guys that are leaders in the church with him. Those 3 leaders then get 250 Israelite leaders, and they begin to rebel against the leadership of Moses. You say, what did Moses do wrong? That's not the point. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The matters is the hierarchy of how God had it set, and they're rising up against him because Satan loves to use disgruntled people. If you knew every single thing about me, everything I've done wrong, you probably wouldn't be here today, and you probably wouldn't want to be my friend.
And finally, and possibly the most important one, the sister of Micah Miller made this Facebook post on March 17th. It says, I was sitting in church today when I received a text message. Usually I don't check my phone and I keep it on silent. But with everything going on with my sister, I've made it a point to try and keep an eye on it for fear of her safety due to others' behaviors towards her. To no surprise, it was a message about what was said from the pulpit today in Myrtle Beach at her church. I have so much sadness that someone could take the position that was hopefully given to them by God and use it for their own benefit, abusing God's gift of free will. Though she doesn't speak specifically about what was said in the message, here's what I believe she was talking about.
A friend of mine that's a pastor called me last week, and One day on a Monday, his wife told him that he was the greatest husband in the world, that she loved her life and she was so appreciative. The very next day, something happened and she left. And he didn't know where she went. She just left all of her things, left everything she had, everything she worked for, everything. He didn't know what to think. He had no idea what was going on. So he hired a third-party service to find her and see where she was living and that kind of stuff. And they did. And last week they turned in all of their evidence to his lawyer, and he discovered that she had left him for one of his staff members, a young man that he had trained and to learn how to preach. That he had shared his pulpit with him. A young man who the pastor had paid to go to Bible college, gave him a job. He worked hand in hand with the pastor. And in one fleeting moment, the pastor lost his wife and his good friend all at the same time. When he saw the information over at the lawyers, he started to throw up, just throw up one trash can, second trash can, a third trash can, then he just started to dry heave. He couldn't believe what he saw was the most horrible image and worst thing you could ever imagine. The lawyer drew up the divorce papers. The lawyer told him and said, you have everything you need now. You can be divorced in 3 months. And you'll never have to see her again. You won't have to give her a dime. There's far more than enough information to take care of everything. The pastor said, give me the papers, draw them up. They got all the paperwork ready. They put the pen in his hand, and he just couldn't sign the paper. They said, but don't you see everything, and don't you understand? And he called a lot of the elders, and they supported. If he wanted to leave her, just leave her. This is it. For some reason, he just couldn't do it. And so he went home and he wrote her a letter. And all he said was, I forgive you for what you've done. And I already forgive you for whatever you're going to do. Whenever you want to be restored, just call. And if you want a divorce, you'll have to leave me, because the Bible says, I'll never leave you nor forsake. He left. And the hardest thing he's ever had to go through, he can't hear from God very clearly. He doesn't know what God wants him to do. He knows that she's not herself and doesn't know how to handle it or how to respond. The rage, the rejection, the relationship, it's all there. And so if you get a chance, pray that his heart does not remain angry or upset, because it's destroying him.
And for those who say he may not have been talking about Micah in that clip, take a listen to this.
This is the worst sermon I've ever preached my whole life. I can't stand it. I just want to get the altar call and quit now. One day, listen, if you ever want to know what I'm going through in life, it's always about what I'm preaching about. God is so good to do that every single time.
Remember, the only one to announce that Micah took her own life was her husband. Police have not, and the investigation continues.
God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that? Just imagine what an earthly spouse does. What do you think your heavenly spouse does when you're the bride of Christ and he sees his bride going through abuse and hurt? What do you think he thinks about
that? There's so much to this, you guys. There's so many rabbit holes. Let me see if I can find the picture that they posted of him with his current girlfriend, whose husband committed suicide. Oh, here, I got it. Let me show you this. So this is him. His girlfriend's name is, this is JP, his girlfriend, Susie Skinner. Susie's husband was Chris Skinner, and he was wheelchair bound and committed suicide by drowning in a pool. Yeah, okay. And now all of a sudden, Micah committed suicide. What a coincidence. So now these two are awfully chummy and smiley and happy together. Nothing suspicious here, there. 100% sarcasm. Both of these two are human trash, and this is just the person's post. May they rot in hell. He's just as guilty. So this is him with her now. Somebody got some pictures of them. Oh no, so sketchy, man. I am just like, this is super duper sketchy. So sketchy. Now there's a person, this is her husband. This is the husband of Susie Skinner, JP's girlfriend. There's the obituary for him. So he was in a wheelchair and drowned in a pool by suicide. But I think it'd be really easy to drown somebody that can't walk or move their legs. And how call it suicide? So, even the police department, because I think they just jumped to the conclusion there was a 911 call. They found her shot. They saw her buying a gun. My opinion, I think she was buying the gun to protect herself. My opinion is he was tracking her. My opinion is somehow he found her. I don't know how they made that 911 call happen. He either cloned her voice with AI. There's a huge gap there. Her sister said she was on her way to work and she would never just miss work without making sure her shift was covered. It's just really sketchy. So there's a lot of controversy to it. And it's got a lot. I mean, there's so many rabbit holes. We could be here all day talking about it. But I definitely want to continue to follow this case because, it's getting bigger. Ashley Banfield is following it. I believe that Nancy Grace just did an episode on it. And I think it's going to be one of the newer, bigger cases. That video talking about divorce gave me chills. She was going for a divorce. I don't believe the call. Yeah, there's something to it. And so Lori was saying, I cloned her voice, Lori Day, in our chat, my mod, because I said, Lori, it's so easy to clone someone's voice. I go, call me and leave me a voicemail. So she called and left me a voicemail. And I went on that little AI site where you can clone a voice. And I cloned it. And I typed in like a little paragraph for it to say, and it said it wasn't the same thing she told me. It was completely different stuff than she told me, but it sounds enough like her to be like, oh, that was her, It's a little more robotic, I think, when you clone these voices. The inflection's a little bit different sometimes. I did my voice and I played it for my kids and they were like, yeah, it sounds like you. If we didn't know you, like me personally, like my mom knows me or my kids know me, they would totally believe it was me, they said. So what Lori was talking about earlier is, can you clone a voice and make it have a conversation and not just like type in something for it to say and play it? But I think on this cloning thing I have, if you could type fast enough, you could type reply. And there were some pauses in between her, right? Oh, clone Ruby's voice. I love her. I think she's traveling back to her home from Spain right now. So we'll have to tell her we want to clone her voice. Yeah, so there's just so much. In this case, like this Facebook group is really getting into this whole thing. It has like 9,000 people following it. This Micah, let's see. This is her sister has a Facebook page that she's posting on showing like emails. They got copies of text messages and emails that they're playing on here. This one, Justice for Micah. I probably have to pause it. Let me see. And this one bothers me so much because it's so similar to my best friend. ruled a suicide without an investigation, basically shot on the right side of her head when she's left-handed and she was leaving her husband. I brought it up many times with you guys, but super duper duper similar. And he was just as much of a jerk as this guy and was cheating and got remarried really fast and all kinds of crap, like just nonsense, like ridiculous that he just basically got away with murder, and a fire captain of a fire station or area in Houston, Texas. So one of them, you know. So anyway, this is weird. It's going by too fast, but there's a like, if you guys, Kyler, not Tyler, on TikTok, she's got a ton of videos and she got a lot of information. One thing she did post that I thought was crazy is there's some controversy about the license plates. Let me see if I can find that, and then we'll end because there's so many rabbit holes. Hold on. Kyler, let me find it. Please. Okay. Let me see. Okay, fine. Kyler, not Kyler. Okay. Kyler, not Tyler, not Micah. Okay, let me share this one with you.
On the case, but I do have some food for thought and a little bit of debunking to do. So we all know that JP's truck was picked up on the traffic camera.
It's froze. Come back.
Everything that everything that he said about Micah
What happened?
is something he deals with personally.
Hold on. My bad.
Hey guys, it's Kyler. Wednesday, May 8th at about 5:00 p.m. I don't have any updates today or news today on the case, but I do have some food for thought and a little bit of debunking to do. So we all know that JP's truck was picked up on the traffic camera at whatever date and time on that Saturday, but that does not mean that he was driving it. I know for a fact, and this is also public record, that truck that he has seen driving is not registered to him. It is registered to his church. So that means, I mean, anyone can drive a car anyway, right? Like, just because there's a truck doesn't mean he was driving it. Also, I get that he was apparently in Charleston, and there might not be any photos of him in Charleston, but there are no photos of him. You know, just because the report says that he was with other people doesn't mean anything. And we all know the corruption history of Robeson County. I don't believe anything they say personally. I just don't, and I know a lot of you don't either. But the biggest food for thought I wanted to touch on is the fact that just because his truck was picked up does not mean he was driving it. The next part is the photos of Micah at the pawn shop. I truly do not believe that these are photos of her, and if they are, that they are doctored to make her look older, bigger in the chest area, just a little bit different. The biggest thing about this, and some of you are out there arguing about the tattoo thing, about how the picture isn't clear enough. Well, the picture is clear enough to pick up her necklace, which she's only wearing in one frame out of the two frames where she's standing at the counter. So if you look really closely, in one photo of her at the pawn shop counter, she's wearing a necklace. In the other photo of her at the pawn shop counter, the necklace is not there. So I'm going to stick with my tattoo theory. There are no tattoos on either of her hands in those photos. Sorry about the noise. And so all of you have also seen the video floating around, I hope by now, of how easy it is to replicate someone's voice with AI. And a lot of you are out there saying it's not possible. Well, it is. I'm not going to link it here for you, because if you're capable of arguing in the comments, you're capable of taking your phone and researching it for yourself. Also, the last thing was JP was served with papers of some sort. I do not know what they were for. It has not been confirmed anywhere what those papers were for. But that is all of the updates I have, all of the news that I have, all of the debunking that I have. I do want to let everyone know that I am working super diligently behind the scenes on this case. And again, everything that I post here is on my Facebook as well. When you see me reading my screen, it's because I'm reading my Facebook post. I don't want to forget anything. So I've done a couple lives with Justin on TikTok. I did a live with the Chronicles of Olivia and Julie. I'm so sorry, I don't remember her handle right now, but I've done interviews and with all of them. If you want to go check those out. And you know, I'm working really diligently behind the scenes. I cannot and will not share everything that I know. I do read every single message. I don't have time to respond to them all. If you see anything or you know anything about this case, please let me know. You can email the email that I created that I mentioned the other day. You can find that in my other videos. If you are a victim of JP or Wayne or Troy or anyone, or you had any kind of experiences at the Bible colleges that they're affiliated with, I want to know your story, and I want you to feel safe telling your story. And it is so important. The more people that we have come forward, the more evidence we have. And I just want to encourage you to be brave and know
Oh,
that people
Shirley,
believe you.
thank
There
you
are so many
so
people out
much,
there who
so
believe you.
much.
And
Lori, we're going to
you know,
we're going to
this
lunch.
is so much bigger
You
now
appreciate it.
than just Micah, but we are going to figure this out. I do not believe that she did this to herself. I know a lot of you out there are on the same page with me. And if you do believe that she did, that's okay, but you don't have to be hateful about it. You don't have to hatefully spew your opinions all over social media. You know, that's just not necessary. And if I see it, I will block you so you can't see my stuff. So again, let's just keep working. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep speaking up, because these people are not getting away with this. And if she did do this to herself, he is still responsible. Thanks. Hey guys, it's Kyler. Wednesday, May 8th at about 5 o'clock.
Thank you, Shirley. So appreciative of this. Thank you. Thank you. So, very similar in weird ways to Chad and Lori killing spouses, or somehow, you know, people didn't believe that Chad, that, you know, initially people were suspicious, but nothing was confirmed. And Alex and Lori were able to walk away after shooting Charles and saying it was self-defense. And Tammy was ruled as natural death. And now look where we're at. So there's probably a lot that can come out here. And I want to keep following this case as well. But I have kept you guys for literally 2 hours today. Thank you, everybody. Shirley, so appreciate that. Lori and I will be meeting up in CrimeCon so we can go to lunch with that. I really, really appreciate it. And anybody else, anything last minute to say before we wind up? Oh, thank you, Christian. Gifted a membership too. So we got all kinds of members. Let's figure out a time to do a members only live. I got to work on that. We'll do that really, really soon. My schedule for work is going to get better and better now that I'll be going on my own, and I'll be able to self-schedule my days. So, well, okay, that's enough, I guess. I've been talking forever, and my dogs probably want to go potty, yada, yada, yada. Appreciate you all for being here, and I will definitely see you soon. Stay safe and stay well, everyone. Bye-bye.